What's up, bro?
Hey, it's the What's Up Bro podcast. We talk movies, sports, TV shows, pop culture, and it's funny, motherfuckers. With nary signs. I'm like, what? How can this... They have Photoshop. Photoshop exists when this artist rendition was done. How the fuck is this not cooler looking than a sketch that looks like it was done by a hillbilly off the side of the road? What the fuck are we talking? Why is this a thing?
So you're telling me there's a chance?
With Missy.
Just let me finish my thought before you fucking interrupt me. Wrong room to ask questions.
Welcome to the party, pal!
And Mike Markadal.
I'm just glad I like vanilla, boring sex like this. I'm glad that the sex I enjoy won't get me killed.
That's how winning is done.
Hey, I'm Dave Chappelle, and this is What's Up, Bro.
All right, and welcome to the What's Up Bro podcast, your favorite podcast where you come to listen to people talk a lot of shit and then argue about whether or not who's the asshole. That's it. That's pretty much.
Nailed it. See you
that's our
guys
show.
next week. Bye.
There's been many times. First of all, I am Nary Signs. With me as usual is Missy
Hey.
and Mike.
May the fourth be with you.
Cinco
We're
de
on the
Mayo, but okay.
Cinco de Mayo. And then we have Steph, Annie Mayer Sr.
Hello.
All the way from the land down
Good day.
under.
All right.
I have a Gerard Butler story for later, but not now.
Yeah,
That's
there's
what we in the biz we call that a tease.
in the biz.
In the biz.
That's Mike. You are super close up. Like you are
I'm just leaning because I'm leaning forward into my
in your shaved face. So if you could just do me a favor, like
What?
the further back you can get.
Say again? Well, I can't hear you. What'd you say?
Screenshot somebody.
What's happening?
Mike posted up a TikTok of his shaved face, but like
Yeah.
the angle that you have of the TikTok is so close to your face. It is the most intimidating look you've ever had. You look so fucking scary. Like in this TikTok, you're just like,
I mean, yeah. That's been my whole life, lady. I was just walking around and scaring people with my chin and or chins.
but you always look like a friendly giant to me.
That's because you know me. I mean, it's like so when I've done like acting stuff where I'm always like some henchman, they like my friends are like anyone who knows me is like they see me look tough and to them it's funny. They're like, ah, yeah, right. You know, like he's not. That's not. You know.
Have you ever
because-
gotten into a fist fight,
Yeah, of course.
Neri?
Yeah. Many times.
But
I used to be a bit of a bully when I was in middle school, 6th and 7th grade specifically, and I was small as a 6th and 7th grader. Not like I wasn't like the smallest kid, but I was small, and I had this chip on my shoulder where I was like, "You're not gonna be like." I went into this logic in middle school from 5th to 6th grade. I had only known about back then they called it junior high, right? Like they started calling it middle school down here in South Florida right when I got to middle school. It felt like anyway. And so my ideas of junior high were always that of like the movies, like lockers and like there's
Yeah.
fucking kids and
I thought it
fights.
would be like Mighty Ducks.
I went in there with this chip on my shoulder where nobody's gonna push me around. I'm not gonna be fucking let myself be pushed around. And I was never bullied. I was never like bullied. Like it's not like in 5th grade I got in, like I was bullied all year round. And in the 6th grade I said, "Fuck it, it's over today." I just had this thought of like I was looking back at it now. I was afraid of that scenario playing out in real life, like movies playing out in real life. So I took the stance of like I'm not gonna let anybody push me around. So I remember
Chihuahua thing.
the first day of 6th grade in the bus, the guy told me to move, and I was like, I'm already sitting here, and he was like, move. I'm like, fuck you. And the guy was clearly bigger than me. Like, you should not be doing this. Just fucking move. And I didn't fucking move. And then I remember it got to the point where I was like, I don't give a fuck. And then he lifted me up and fucking moved me over. And I was like, like I was like, oh, so you want to play it that way, do you? And then there was a fight. And then every day, specifically, especially because I still am very afraid of my parents. So very afraid of the school, getting in trouble in school. To me, I was always be the class clown and act a fool up until the teachers would threaten calling home. And
And
it
you're
took
like, nah, I'm good. I'm good.
it took them about a semester and a half for them to learn.
For you to wear them down.
A magic word. If you just threaten him with calling his parents, he is fucking deathly afraid of his parents. So I never wanted to get in trouble in school. So all my fights would be at the bus stop because that's not school property and I can't get in trouble. So all my fights would be at the bus stop. I had a lot of fights at the bus stop, a lot, 6th and 7th grade. And then after that, I was like,
those are kid fights. I understand those are very real fights. I had them too. Have you ever had a fist fight as an adult?
All right. So the last time I was supposed to be in a fist fight, I want to say 29-ish, like right around the time before I got met, like right around. And we were at Tamami Park and we were playing football, and it was me and a bunch of friends, and we were playing football. And then we saw another group of guys and they were playing football. So we're like, do you guys want to play football? And so we just started playing football. And those guys, like, not like, I'm not trying to be stereotypical, but those guys were of the variety of, like, I don't know if this is true or not, but they would brag about like we're in gangs and all this bullshit. And we're like, we just want to play football. We don't give a fuck. The funny thing is, so there's a bunch of dudes, you know, who are like the stereotypical, like super tatted
Tough
up.
guys,
And
yeah.
I'm a tough guy, whatever. But we were fucking kicking their ass in football. I say we but I had very little to do with that. Like I didn't, you know what I mean? I wasn't really carrying my weight in the football in the game. And then one thing led to another. They did a crazy hard tackle after the fucking play was dead, and then a whole brawl broke out. And later on, I'll finish the rest of the story, but later on, my best friend's dad told me, you're too smart for a fucking fist fight. Because the whole time I was like, guys, this is stupid. Why are we doing this? Like the whole fucking time. And it's like 10 on 10. Everybody's throwing fucking fists. It's like one of those things where you got to keep your head on a swivel. Yeah. And I'm like literally trying to separate guys. Like, come on, we don't got to do this. We don't got to fucking blah, blah, blah. And I got hit one time and I threw like one punch, but it wasn't even like a punch. It was like, hey, get the fuck, like that type of shit. But it wasn't out of fear. It was strictly out of like, this is stupid. We're fucking 30. We're grown ass men. Why are we having fucking fights in a park? And nobody stopped it, by the way. There was like people playing soccer around us and fucking kids playing like baseball. Nobody fucking stopped us. The park was full and nobody stopped us. Everybody stopped to watch.
I guess they're playing rugby now.
And then we went to the parking lot to get in our cars and leave. And then I don't know what happened. Everybody just stood around outside their cars. I guess nobody wanted to get in their cars. And then the fight broke out again. So it was like 2 fights, and that's when I got punched in the parking lot. But I remember thinking like, this is why we think this is crazy. Like, this is absurd. This is why we.
Yeah, the guy who called you smart. That's a very polite way for him to have called you a coward.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
he's too smart for this sort of thing. Maybe you're like, come on, guys.
I think it is smart.
But it was all logical. Like there was no sense of me.
No,
I remember
it's dumb to fight. It's really
I legitimately can recall vividly. It wasn't a fear. Like I remember people were like, "Were you afraid?" I was like, "No, I wasn't afraid. I wasn't like, oh, my heart wasn't even pounding. I was just like, guys, this is stupid. Like, why are we?
Let's go to Denny's.
Like, we should go to Denny's and eat samples. Why the fuck are we doing this?" It was like that, and then I was like worried about my friends and shit because they were all into the whole fucking fighting thing. And then there was like one of the guys
excited about it.
One of the guys in our group was his girlfriend was there, and his girlfriend was like in the fucking middle of it because her little brother got hurt and all this bullshit. And I remember immediately just thinking, but I don't know. But I said it myself. I was like, oh, I don't know. We'll call me a pussy, I guess. And then everybody was like, yeah. No, yeah, you are. And I was like, okay.
Well, to your credit, when I asked you yesterday if you would get in a fist fight, you said I had to tell you what the guy looks like first.
Yeah. She said that I am one of those guys that she goes, maybe not a fist fight, but you would definitely.
I was like, if I'm ever in an argument and I need backup, I would definitely call you right away. But if it's a fist fight, he's like, no, you got to tell me who it is. It depends who it is.
I go, well, it depends on who the fist fight is. If the fist fight looks like Jeff and Dave, okay.
Oh, come on.
And I said, I'm not saying Jeff and Dave. I'm saying if they look like.
Yes, I understand.
Dave, I'm okay. If the guy looks like Mike.
Man,
Guys,
you
let's
know,
talk. Let's talk it
that's-
out.
Let's put it. Let's have a sampler, man.
Come on,
That's-
man.
Yeah. I've always said that I have a fight body but a flight mind. Like
That's bullshit too. Because I've been with you at the fucking Marlins at a Marlins
Oh,
game
yeah.
when we were supposed to be having fucking free food, and there's a special so there's a special section back in the day. I don't know if they still have this, where certain games, like every first Monday of a month, whatever the fuck it is, there's a certain section where you get all the food included in the meal in the ticket, right? And I took Mike right before he left to New York. And then we went and we were having a good time, but there's only like one section. You have to go to that one place to eat. Like you can't, it's not like you can walk around the
I
park.
think we've talked about it on the show. The line was long as fuck.
The line was long, and Mike was like, "Hey, the line's back here, buddy." Like and I remember like I
was ready for New York.
We were in the middle of the conversation. We were
I guess
going.
that's why I do well up here. I'm just like, hey.
We were in the
You're
middle.
in the way.
We were in the middle of just talking, and then he stopped. Like I don't know if he was talking or if I was talking, but either way,
The conversation stopped.
It's sentence for him to yell, and I remember going, "Oh." Like, I was like, but he said that shit was such authority that I was like, that he was like, and then what happened? I was like,
he threw the bass in his voice for the line.
Yeah.
He's like,
sometimes you gotta say shit with bass in your voice. It doesn't mean I'm gonna fight the guy, but it definitely means.
Oh, you would have.
No, you know what it is? The bit even from when I was doing like martial arts and shit like that, and when I was like actually like, you know, like in that mindset of like the age where you get into fights, like the idea of strangers playing football with each other, immediately I was like, yeah, let's just spray each other with testosterone and see who breaks first. You know, like that's literally what it is. You're especially if they're like, oh, we're gonna play tackle, and then it's like someone's gonna get hit a little too hard, or basketball even, or take offense. And I immediately they say, oh, like we saw these other guys play football over there. I was like, yes, here we go. And it's because it's kind of predictable. And then as I've gotten older, I've become the guy that holds people, the guy that the ender of the fight, like the guy
what
that
Neri did.
No. I'm a coward. What he did, is different. What he does, end the fight.
No, Mike is trying to nicely say, "I will throw the last punch."
Not necessarily punch, but I have like the only things the ones that stand out in my mind are like when I've had to hold somebody down on the ground or hold someone in like a chokehold or something like that, so that they'll stop. Like clearly there was one guy who was the problem, and then there was like the other guy getting beat up on, and then having to like restrain, like to break up the fight. And I'm not trying to fight nobody. I'm trying to break up fights that are happening.
Yeah, I was doing the same thing. I was just less successful than you.
Yeah, well,
it's the same thing. If I would have ended my story with, and then I choked the guy out to calm him down, you would have been like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that didn't happen, but I was doing the whole guys. Come on. This is ridiculous.
That happened. You know, it's funny. It's happened here on the train a couple times where I've had to use the bass. I've had
Your
to
Miami
use
bass voice.
I've had to well, it's also like
drop that bass, man.
Yeah. I just start like playing Uncle Al on my Bluetooth.
And they immediately go, "Hey man, we don't want to pause, man."
Yeah. No, I will say that
I was here picturing like Miami freestyle, so it's just like Diamond Girls.
Yeah. Diamond Girl asses and deer.
This
but on the subway, so like
spiral.
every once in a while, like also I guess working as a paramedic has helped. But like every once in a while you'll get like a crate. Like I remember when I first moved up here, I got on the train and it felt weird in the train in the subway car. Like I was like, the vibe was weird. And then I noticed there was a guy jerking off in the corner. And
normal?
Is that why you guys are all acting weird?
Normal?
So this happens in the ER a lot. Like in the ER, you'd walk into a patient's room and someone would just be jerking off and you'd just be like, hey. So I did that. I walked into the thing and I was like, what's going on? I look around, I'm like, hey, put it away, man. And then he's like, I imagine it's like like I addressed it, right? And then so he just like suddenly felt like he thought he was invisible, and suddenly he felt the shame of being seen doing what he was doing, and then he was just like, and he like puts his dick away, and then he walks over into the next one, probably jerk off in there. But in that moment, I was like, I saw everyone looking around, and they were like, oh, I didn't know we could just tell him to stop. And I was like, no. I can tell him to stop.
A couple things. One, did people applaud?
No.
you.
No, it's New York.
I
Nobody
felt
fucking
like
applause.
I felt like that needed an applause,
No,
right?
no,
Like
no.
the hero.
Not in New York,
yeah.
they kill you if you're in the
Yeah,
way.
in New York, they're too nice to a fucking applaud.
No.
And then the
It's
other
because
question
not
I
many.
have,
The only people that really knew what was going on were the people like right there. Everyone, like people had literally cleared out, and then I was like, because it's also about like on the subway when you need a place to sit. Like it's like hot commodity. So when you see a whole bunch of seats open, you're like, oh, something's
What's going on over there?
Either it smells like
Teen
like
spirit.
putrid percolated shit in there, or like some homeless guy's been in there all night, or there's like some I've seen fights break out. I had to step into a fight one time, and I pushed somebody out the doors before as the doors were closing, so that the fight could end. Like I was just like waiting for it, and it was like ding dong, and I was like wink, and then the doors closed. You know, like the train took off, and then the person who was like getting his ass beat essentially was like mad. And was like, well, why'd you fucking do that? I had him. I was like, no, shut up, sit down, relax. The fight's on timeout at least.
What's he supposed to say? Oh, thank God, bro. Thank God.
Well, he didn't
I
have
was
to say
getting my
anything, but he
ass
was like,
handed to me. So
Oh.
appreciate you, sir.
No,
If you
but
can
with
give me your
the
Cash App, I will send you some money because I've been getting my ass handed to
I mean,
me.
at the very least, you could just take a breather. Just
Yeah.
like
call,
fine,
hey,
go back
time
around
out,
2 later.
go to your
Wait,
corner.
going back to the guy jerking off. This is my second question that I had.
Okay.
Locked and loaded, no pun intended. Did he make eye contact? Did you guys make eye contact?
I looked right at him.
When
I was like,
know, when
hey.
you go, hey, put that away. Did he
That's
look at
very
you like,
intimate.
while holding himself? Did he look at you?
Yeah.
Man.
That's why he put it away, because I feel like I like broke something like of concentration for him, where like you know what I mean, like the reality of what he was doing.
Right.
I hope hit him or something like that, because like you're mentally ill, you're on the train, you do be fucking gross jerking off at her, and I like made eye contact with him, and then that's when he like looked at me and he looked down and he got mad and he was like, rah, rah, rah. Like I ruined his night, I did. But,
Well, you did a little.
Yeah, you did. That's
Oh,
yeah.
And the only other time I almost got into a fight was when one of those fucking Showtime dancers kicked me in the shoulder. I got so mad because the guys that do the flips and they hang off the thing and they're Showtime. I was I was just kind of standing there on my phone, ignoring them. You've seen it a million times. I don't care. And then as the guy was coming down, his hand slipped off the thing and his foot hit me in the shoulder. And I was like, yo, what the fuck? And he fell and he was hurt. And I'm like, hey, man, get the fuck out of here. Stop. You're fucking kicking people. Like, you're not good enough yet to do it around this many people. Like, I said something stupid. And then they got mad. And I was like, get the fuck out of here.
You're not good enough to do it.
Go find them, empty your car where you're not going to hurt somebody, and practice. And then
Go find another pole.
Then come back in like where you can do it in like a narrow corridor of faces and heads.
Okay.
And I'm picturing like, how do these guys practice? Like, is there a warehouse somewhere that has like a fake little train car and dummies?
They go to like the end, where it's empty. Like there's certain train cars that are empty, and the stations that are farther out are more empty. But they are. But it is genuinely like that's the only time. That's the last time I can remember even. Oh, no. And a couple open mics, you'd get some drunks that we had to
see. But you have already so many more stories than the rest of us combined. Like,
yeah.
No, I have stories, but they don't count because they were in middle school. So that's what Mike said. They don't count. I'm sure those are real fights. But have you, as a grown up, ever fucking?
You know what it is?
I think I've only ever thrown one punch as a grown up. Maybe.
I've wanted to, but I've never been lucky enough.
As an adult, if you fight as a kid, it's a fight. But if you fight as an adult, like especially because if you did martial arts, you know how easy it is to like accidentally hurt somebody for real. Like that. Yeah. That's a big deal.
I've heard about that.
Yeah.
Mike, tell your story of when you were in the class, in the martial arts class. Tell the story.
Which one, man? What are you talking about?
Well, tell the story. I can't. If I say it, then the punchline will be given away. The point of the story. But the story that you told me, that didn't you have a bet where somebody or some shit happened?
What are you talking about? I don't remember.
That sounds like a 90s movie.
I know.
Yeah,
sounds like a Jean-Claude
I was going to
movie.
turn the ugliest girl in school, who just happened to be the hottest girl in school, wearing pink.
But she had a ponytail
and glasses. And then I said I could make her homecoming queen. And then in the process, I fell in love with her.
Right. It gets complicated.
Walk graduation holding a volleyball in front of my dick.
Yeah.
Is that
Because that's
Am I
charming.
confusing Am I confusing two movies?
No, you
No,
I think
this-
you're matching every teenage movie.
you just checked. Yeah, you just checked off like 3
Oh.
different movies.
Yeah. I remember. Okay, so I had to fight this one guy. Now I remember. I had
he
to fight this
message
one
you?
guy. Yes, he did. To remind me. I'll tell you why I forgot it though.
I was wondering if like She's All That unlocked it for you.
Yeah. I had to fight Paul Walker. Rest in peace.
No.
No, I had to fight. It was like sparring matches, and we were doing like training for things, and I was gonna fight this guy, and whatever. It was back when I was doing like Jeet Kune Do, and I was doing whatever. And then I fight this guy, and I'm just like I was as heavy as I am now. I was so it wasn't really like a real sanctioned. Well, there wasn't really sanctioned. Whatever. It was this like taller, lanky black guy.
Man, you are going way fucking far to
I
like we
know.
don't give a fuck about
I
any
know
of these
that's
people.
not the important
Like,
part of the story.
Nobody's ever hearing this
Yeah.
story going like, was it a sanctioned fight or not, bro?
Oh, yeah.
Like, nah, we don't care.
So when I was, we were fighting, whatever, and I went to throw a punch. Like I ducked down and I went to like throw a punch, and all I saw was like his foot coming, and then nothing, and I was out. I woke up later. You know what I mean? Like it was one of those things where even then they told me like the first words out of my mouth was asking everybody why I was where they were in my room. Like I had like straight up Friday. You got knocked the fuck out, man! Like straight up, knocked the fuck out. That was so the reason why it's not sanctioned is important because they couldn't just call somebody because the whole thing would have got shut down. So because I would have ruined everybody's vibe or whatever with my unconsciousness, and I genuinely I don't remember anything after that. I just and even then I only remember the
man. He wakes up and there's an old man and he's like, we have to go back in time.
It's your kids, Mike. It's something about your kids.
You gotta get your kids. You gotta get your kids.
And I'm like, I don't want children.
Get out of my room.
It's been a while.
I fucked up.
Genuinely, someone was like, you got up and you were like, why? What are you guys doing in my room? Like I thought I was just waking up from like a
nap.
Stress. Yeah, like
That's
from
hilarious.
gotta go to work.
All right, hold on. We got
my knife foot.
We got a comment here from Yolanda. Shout out to Yolanda, fan fave. I remember when I thought Mike was being nice by helping a lady with a baby carriage down the steps, and he told me no, she was in the way, slowing us down.
Jesus
Christ.
Christ.
It's still polite what I did.
I did do that, by the way. When the first time I ever went to New York, there was a lady with a baby carriage going down the stairs of the subway, and I like picked up the baby carriage with her, and
That's polite.
and I did that, and I remember everybody around me was like, "Who the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
Like they were not
Supportive of your kind gesture.
They were not only were they not supportive, they were very confused. Very confused. They were
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck?"
It
I
was
remember,
Miami.
I remember other women as I'm walking backwards down the steps. I remember other women passing us going upstairs, and they looked at me and they were like, "What the?" Like they were like, "What?"
I don't know, but I mean, I see that all the
No,
time.
I'm telling you a life experience. This wasn't a fucking. I don't know about that. I'm telling you, it happened.
No, but it's common. Like I see that all the time. I see people doing that stuff. I do it all the time. Like when you see those little Chinese ladies carrying like 1,000,000 pounds of shit, and you're just like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll help you." You know, because they're
in my way, so I gotta.
Steph, have you ever been in a fist fight?
Honestly, as a girl, I've only ever had to do slaps to like defend myself because if someone's like in my bubble, it's usually a guy. It's always a guy. It's always been a guy. It's never been a girl.
Yeah.
The last punch I threw was in a Flogging Molly concert where a guy was like jumping all over a friend of mine, and she was much shorter than me. If you can believe that.
Like mosh pit jumping on somebody, or like
no, it wasn't in the pit because that would be expected, right?
Right.
It was away from the pit and it was like front row, so we were trying to separate ourselves from everyone. We're all standing and stuff like that, but he's like Mike's height, jumping on someone who's shorter than me, and like we're just trying to tell him like, hey, look, she's right here, just careful, just jump in, just like da-da-da-da. Like just you're like knocking her over because she was much more timid and everything like that. And then at some point he was like, shut the fuck up, cunt.
Oh.
And then next thing I know, my fist was in his throat.
Yeah.
Sequence activated.
So like I punched him in the Adam's apple.
Nice.
Is that when you guys broke up?
That's actually a good good place to go for.
I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
I thought that was where the story was gonna go. Like, yeah, I got in a fight once, and I was like, oh no.
No, it wasn't gonna go dark.
I was like, oh no, this story's gonna go. Yolanda says that she went from proud to dismayed.
I mean, that's kind of my milieu. That's where I live. That's where I center around my life experience.
Rookie was asking if he got knocked out by Seafood Dwight.
I saw it. It was not Seafood Dwight. It was someone else from another.
That knockout was sick.
If it would have been Seafood Dwight, he would not have seen the foot.
Yeah, well,
last thing I remember, I was standing up.
Oh, actually, I think I just remembered a fight. I just remembered one.
Oh, go ahead.
Was there
One of the reasons that made me realize I might be like not in the place to like go clubbing in Miami anymore.
Okay.
I went for my one of my cousin's bachelorette party. A bunch of us went. We had a whole big day. It was a lovely day at the beginning. It was spa. It was very chill. It was very. And next thing I know, my other cousin is like, "Hey, let's go to 11." I don't know. Is 11 still a thing there?
No.
Oh yeah. No.
Not anymore.
No,
Is that already closed?
Yes.
So she decided like to go to Club 11 because they have the whole lounge thing, but it's also like there's also the whole stripper pole in the middle and stuff. So we decided to go, and we're like just vibing, having a great time. Ended up getting into VIP, had a great time. Then there was like one girl who started like getting into it with one of my cousins. I already started kind of singing it, the writing on the wall, and I was about to start doing that whole like in the middle thing as well. Like, hey,
you just position yourself slightly.
You would be
so I'm just
positioning yourself to be a coward.
Yeah. So like just kind of blocking my cousin's view because they're rowdier than I, and I'm just being like, let's not. How about this? We're all wearing nice stuff. I'm wearing platforms. I don't want to do this right now.
I'm not dressed for this occasion.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, I'm like, I am wearing a long coat.
Yeah.
I cannot move as much as I can, as I usually do. And it didn't work. The girls ended up jumping over their seats, lunging onto my cousins at some point, pinning them down on the floor. And that's when I finally I refuse to fight anyone. I do not want to get into fights. If you look at my cousins wrong though,
yeah,
that's when I'm like, I can't be at fault for anything I do. So I jumped in.
That's kind of a thing, right? Like you're the protector. Like you would never consider unless there was like physical harm being done to you to like start.
Exactly.
But there are people like that are like the second something is with their family or someone they care about or their friend or whatever, and you'd see that switch and you're just like, oh shit, like, oh my god. And it's weird. Like I know that too. Like I have some of that as well, but like I guess it's like as an adult, the chain reaction of bad things happening is much more prevalent to you. You know what I mean? Like you're much more aware of like, all right, Yeah.
Well, that's why my first instinct is of all the cousins that were in the pile, because by this time there was already a pile of people. Of all the people I did decide to grab and drag out was the only one of us who was a mom at the time. The one who was a mom and who had like a newborn baby and the whole thing. She's the one I grabbed and flung and looked at her and went, "Hey, not you."
Was she the one starting shit though?
No, she wasn't. But it was her younger sister that was like attacked. So of course she jumped into the fray because that's her baby sister. So I just grabbed her, threw her out. And then I got a few punches on me and I got something on someone else. I know I shoved someone across the fucking couch.
That sounds like so much fun.
But we had to run.
Oh, that doesn't sound like fun.
Security was coming.
With your platforms looking like baby giraffes.
I had to go running. I went from such a classy night. So I went from the joy of flinging dollars onto someone's G-string to having to run sometimes. I was having such a great time bonding with my cousins. And then next thing I know, I'm having to also bond with them by somehow losing track of the one cousin that got jumped, trying to grab the other ones out of there, having security trying to come after this and me trying to do the talk of like, we're fine, everything's fine, totally sober, I gotta go. Making them run out the back door. And as we're all like getting at the back door, that same cousin who had like been the one to start shit, who disappeared, was already out the front in a car that wasn't ours. We didn't come in. Just in a passenger seat with her head out the door, just being like, "Jump in, bitches!" And just ran and jumped into the car and just drove off into the sunrise.
And that's the last time you went clubbing.
And that's when we got back and we were all sitting there in the hotel room and everyone was like delirious. And when my one cousin had the glass like
Oh,
cuts
no.
in her hair, and I'm like getting glass out of her hair because and then the other one had a scratch on her face and she was getting married soon, is when I was like, maybe we don't do this anymore.
Fighting sucks. Like that, none of that's fun. Like if you
It
get
sounds like
even
fun.
if you win, you get hit in the face. Like that's not fun. Getting hit in
No.
the face sucks.
I mean,
Especially when one of you is getting married soon. Kind of need to be careful.
She's like walking down the aisle, the veil comes up, and she's got like a big old hematoma. Like
Almost, dude. You're not exaggerating, though.
really?
It was very close to
And
that.
everyone at the wedding is gonna be like, "Are we sure this is a good idea? Should we be supporting this?"
He's the one for me, guys. Missy, have you ever been in a fist fight?
no. And I really want to be in one, like desperately, but I haven't. No.
Let's start a fight club style.
Well, like 10 years ago, there was the first night I ever tried Southern Comfort was also the last night I ever tried Southern Comfort.
That's fair.
Usually
And-
the way it goes, yeah.
And there was a girl there that I had seen a couple of times that summer, and she got in my face, and we got separated because I was blacked out drunk. And then I just made a mental note. I'm like, next time I see her, I don't care where it is, I'm just gonna pick a fight and I'm gonna punch her. Because I needed to get it out of my system. And I never saw her again.
What
I
a
never-
weird. This is like Craigslist misconnections, but for a fight.
And then there was a
I
time
saw you from across the room, and I did
I
not
wanted
go
to.
say
wanna
hello.
punch your face.
she was being disrespectful and I was going through a hard time. So I was like, I deserve to punch somebody in the face. So next time I see her, I'm going to do it. And then I never saw her again. And then a few years ago, I was like, please let me run into so-and-so. Like, please let me run into so-and-so.
See Missy at Aldi, like, oh, this is a good price.
Crack. Yeah.
fucking,
Yes.
fucking-
The fucking
Just
Kill
the
Bill,
Avengers. I was
Kill
gonna say the
music.
Avengers thing.
No,
Yeah,
I'm doing
yeah,
that. Weep-oo.
Yes, that thing. That didn't happen. But a couple of years ago, I was ready for a
Yeah.
fight.
Not yet. Relax.
I know.
We have
Life is
social
long.
media. It's not like you can't find her.
I don't know. I wouldn't know what the fuck she looks like. And 10 years ago, social media wasn't the
I'm
thing that
saying
it is now.
Go online
No, I'm
right
saying-
now and look her up and go.
I
fucking
don't
find
know
her.
what she looks like because the last time I saw her, I was blacked out drunk on Southern
Do
Comfort.
you know her name?
The girl that I was gonna punch, and then I never saw again. That's
Do you
her
know
name.
that girl's name? You
I
don't know.
don't.
It's
Oh,
act.
so she can't
that girl
just search
or
like
the
this
fight.
bitch.
No. And then the person that she was with is like
MySpace.com/ this bitch.
No. And then I really want a couple years ago, I was ready to rumble with a specific list of people, and I was like, on site. How the kids say on site. I was like, on site. I'm jumping, I'm going. And I never fucking got the opportunity. And now I'm like all well adjusted and over it. So it's not gonna be the same.
Hold on.
Did
Can
you
we
have a
address-
list, Steve Buscemi style and Billy Madison?
It was a
where it's like-
post-it. It was a post-it. It wasn't
like,
a list.
oh, I'm glad I apologized.
No,
to
it
that
was
guy.
Aria. It was an Aria list.
Yeah, it was an aria list.
Like-
I had a kill list for sure.
I have a list.
But I never got granted the
Yolanda's
favor.
chiming in, and she said Chippendale.
Chippendales, baby.
Yolanda got stories, baby.
And
Yolanda
then
got
she
stories.
says Crazy Horse. Oh my god.
I've
memory.
never been to a girl strip club, and I've been dying to go, and the fucking pandemonium happened, and
You
now
mean the male strip club?
no, Crazy Horse is the girls.
It's for. I mean,
No.
The
Crazy
Bears.
Horse has
I've
girls.
been to the
Chippendales
Bears.
has
Yeah.
right.
No, I
I
thought
want-
Crazy Horse was men stripping.
No, that's La Bears, and I went to La Bears, and it was an awful experience. So
I'm actually not a huge fan.
I'm
of,
not
like-
either. I just want to go, like, you go to the zoo and look at animals. I just want to see, like, what the fuck the hype is. Why do people spend thousands of dollars at this thing?
Because they're hot.
I guess.
I don't like we've talked strip clubs to me do not. I mean, I've always been broke, so the logic in my head has always been like, no, the
I don't know.
harmony.
I'm a weirdo. The only way I actually like going to the strip club is if I actually go with my person. Like, I'm much more into that.
Oh, I wanted to do that once, and I got shot down. I got shot down a lot.
Really, it's kind of hot. Like being with your person, it's kind of
Not into it.
I don't know.
No, I'm not into that.
They shot me down. They shot me down for public sex too.
No, that I wouldn't shoot anybody down for. But I would. Yeah, I don't know if I would.
I got
like,
shot
I
down
don't-
for that.
I don't know if I would. And I. In fact, I'm gonna say I would not enjoy going to a strip club with my wife or my significant other. I would not enjoy that.
I want to go.
I don't know what way Vanessa identifies, but the reason my partners like going to a strip club with me is because I am not straight. So for me, it is that I am actually enjoying this thing. I'm not judging you for enjoying it. Like I'm actually getting something out of this too.
I've been in situations. I've been with to strip clubs with women and with
I think
friends.
that's the first time I said that out loud, by the way.
With
It's the first time I ever heard it.
Yeah. No, it's
for
out
you,
loud,
though.
like in a setting where
Yes.
online.
I feel like I would have had a song prepared. You know, like
Mike's like not even here for it.
I know.
And Mike's
Like,
like answering a call. What did I miss? Well,
Look, Yolanda says Crazy Horse is men stripping and good drinks. Yeah, I
thought Crazy Horse was the girls.
listen.
Maybe
When
you're confused
I
about
believe
it.
Yolanda. Yolanda can tell whatever Yolanda tells me. I believe. So I
it's
know.
in the name, Crazy Horse. They're hung like horses.
But no, there's a Crazy Horse for girls too.
No, I think you're thinking about.
You might be getting to think about a different one.
Mike, you missed it. Yolanda clarified and said Crazy Horse is men stripping. That she went to a strip club after a friend dragged her and had a freaking ballroom dance.
Dragged her.
Dragged her.
Sure.
Hey, Yolanda, do you want to go to a strip club? Yes.
Crazy Horse Gentlemen's Club,
I guess there's the one I'm thinking of is
temporarily closed.
I imagine I've heard of it like in Vegas as a Crazy Horse, but like for
There
women.
is a Crazy Horse,
Strippers.
and then there's a Crazy Horse. It's in Orlando, Florida. It's kind of a drive, but I don't know. I think it would be interesting. I've never had the opportunity.
Well, over here nearby, we have the one that Thunder from Down Under one, which is like a bunch of like the really hot dudes. Like
Nice.
That's like a Chippendales thing, no?
Yeah, that one is a Chippendales thing.
Yeah, but they don't. They're all good looking. Like, is there a male strip club? Is there a male that the guys are not good looking?
Yeah,
Isn't
that
a
happens.
prerequisite? Like, is that?
Well, I mean, if you go to like a
No,
standard,
yeah,
if you go to a standard strip club, you have like the C crew. Like you have the people who are
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody's
I've
gonna
gone
like
through the
you.
I can apply. Like, I
I've
can
gone
apply.
through
I can fly.
I'm just picturing the Chris Farley.
Yeah,
Patrick
Chris
Swayze.
Farley. Yeah, like, his moves. I got the moves.
Yeah. And
Uh,
they're both
I
like,
think
"You're so
there's
good."
all kinds, right?
Fantastic. The artistry.
Good times.
Nary dance. They're under the name Sirloin. Yes, my dance name would be Sirloin.
I like it.
Who the hell's that
I like
talking
that.
on our
Who's
behalf?
doing, who's doing
That's
the
probably
what's up,
Vanessa.
bro?
Oh, it's probably
Vanessa.
Vanessa. Hey.
I like that name though.
Sirloin.
That's
I
good.
love that. Mike, you missed it. You walked away. I don't want to do it now. Stephanie came out of the closet and she like literally said that she's not straight, like out loud. And then she said, "That's the first
It's
time."
not a joke. It's not a joke, Mike. Don't worry. It's not a
And
joke.
it's a
Like
joke.
actually,
Mike-
that actually
and
happened,
Mike-
and you missed
And
it.
then she literally said, "That's the first time I've said that out loud." What the funny thing is, I've known you for so long that I'm like, it wasn't even a shock to me. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
I
me either.
literally-
I was like,
I
that
was
makes
gonna
sense.
I could have sworn that I knew that already. Is that
I
not
know.
a thing?
Well, here's the reason why I knew that.
Oh,
Not
is
to
that
give
weird?
away stories.
It wasn't confirmed to me,
But
but now.
there was a time where you were dating somebody and they were in the process of getting you into a situation with another woman. And I remember
Right.
that conversation being present during that conversation. And I remember like playing it real cool, like, oh, it's cool. And then like Steph would turn sideways, like just, and then the guy would look at me and be like, and I'm like, yeah, my God, it's so exciting. And I'm like, cool.
Because,
No,
like,
no.
Back then, I was still like, oh, I'm straight-ish. Like I would like say like all these things. Mind you, like I've always.
Why?
I don't know. Well, because it takes
It's
a
a
while for you
process.
to like
You're
accept
Pam.
shit.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Look at your
there
hair.
I've always been a really good ally. Well,
Look at your hair. We knew.
Yeah.
No.
Right. like
That could be her creativity. That doesn't
Yeah, that's
necessarily mean
also-
anything else.
Creativity.
I don't know what.
She's
it is
a photographer. That takes creativity.
Well, the thing is, like, look, and there was also like there was a period of time too where I was just like, oh, like I'm looking at people all the time so much, and I can see the beauty in so many different people that I don't know of how much of that is the side of me that's just like, I cannot imagine. I have to see what's attractive in people.
Yeah.
Like, so I
Yeah,
didn't know
yeah.
how much of that was just like this is the mindset I'm in all the time. But now that I've had enough time away from photography for a bit and during my break, I'm like, no, I still see it. Okay, Harry.
We're gonna get booted again, sir.
Oh yeah, shit. Hold on. Sorry.
No,
I
just let us
forgot.
keep talking over it. We're it's part of
Blah.
Yeah.
La, 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 la.
Well, I only played 10 seconds, so I mean,
yeah, no,
We're safe.
But
I think it's like certain bars.
I don't know if it's I don't mean it in any kind of like a negative way, but like I thought you were out as a man. I could have sworn I've heard you talk about it before.
yeah, we've had conversations. We did have conversations.
I've made
previous-
jokes
in
and
previous
references to it. Like I've made jokes and references to it, but like
Enough
I have,
apparently where I just assumed you were bisexual. I just assumed you were.
I kind of have that energy about me, but I wonder why.
We give off strong bi energy. Sure.
I know.
It's not her hair.
But you said we've had conversations, and I'm pretty sure it's been on WuBro in previous episodes years upon years ago about the conversation, because I remember saying things like making the joke of like men can't be bi, it's not a thing, and then you were like men can be bi, and then we had those kind of conversations or whatever on the air, and then
Which I still stand by.
yeah, and then and so do I, and then there's only so much you or any person can defend one stance before it becomes like evident
Personal.
that's personal, right?
Yeah.
Like it's only like so
That's
many.
why other
But the
Republicans are
tricky
gay.
thing, the
That's
tricky
why
thing with the bi
that's why
thing,
I stay away
like-
from like, can you believe this celebrity cheated on somebody? I'm like, I don't got no opinion, bro. We're moving on. It was like what I was like, I
Wait.
no opinion.
yeah,
I don't. Why? I don't get that.
Because there's only so much you can defend somebody before the eyes start looking at you.
Oh, I see.
can't even-
I see.
You can't even defend an ideology before people start assuming that you're
Yes.
coming from a
I
personal
because I,
space.
look, I know why I do know plenty of straight people who will 100% go for bat and actually be that ally. So I just wondered for a long time like how much of that was me, and I was always so supportive. Yeah, and I was always so supportive of the people, like suppose like any of my friends who are homosexual, like they can't be as passing as I am, who's only ever publicly had relationships with men. So like I haven't had to go through a lot of the bullshit. Like, and as an adult, and now that I'm with someone who's probably my forever person and have a child with him and everything, I'm like, there's definitely no coming out like publicly kind of thing for me in the future.
Because it's
So
not
it's always
really
just
about-
constantly doing it.
I think there's two sides of it. There's the action and then the identity. Like there's plenty of bi people out there in straight relationships that are still like that doesn't change anything about their identity. It's just how they are living their life. I think that's one of those things. Like I don't know. I mean, I do believe that men can be bi. Like because like I know some people who say like it's not me to identify, it's not up to me to identify them, they identify as bisexual. I'm like, cool. The same way I have trans friends who when they were in transition they were like, oh, this is how I want to be. I was like, okay, cool. Like I don't have that muscle of like, no, I can't, I have to change, I have to mold my version of you in my mind. So when someone you're in a relationship with, I do think it's interesting you said probably your forever person, because that's true. Like, yeah, you're like probably, like, yeah, that's my forever person. I hate when people are like, oh, this is my ride or die. This is it's like, did you have one of those last week? You had another one of those last week too.
I've had some of them. I've learned.
My favorite is during my whole world. I was like, didn't you have another world last week? And the week before, are you building your own solar system?
It's a solar system.
Look, I've been married before. I know for sure shit happens. And like with Dave and I, it does seem like that is what it'll be, and that is what we work toward every day because we actually put the work in.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't like, you never know if life is gonna have horrible shit in the future for you. Like you don't like it would be bad.
I absolutely think that's a healthier way to look at it. Like it's
me
totally the healthier way. It's like, no, this is who I'm with, and probably gonna be with forever. Because to stand, that's the whole thing about those people that are super anti-gay or super like homophobic and trying to like pass laws on stuff. Those are the ones that you find out later were like paying for male like all of that shit.
100%.
So like when someone's like, yeah, probably, that to me is almost more safe than someone being like up I'm planting myself and there's no other way to look at it. So like you being with somebody in a relationship in that context, like how you identify really they're two separate things. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it, because there's also a lot of like straight.
Sorry, for anyone who's listening, we just finished laughing because Vanessa wrote "Steph tiene un aire," like I have an air about me.
You throw an air, but it's an air about you. Like
there
was no shock. You said it, and I was like, okay.
You have a queer aura, is what it is.
That makes sense.
Your
I mean, also
rainbow's coming from me.
Also, I'm really unfazed by that. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, I know it is for the person that's saying that's coming out for sure. So I'm not taking away from that. But in terms of like shock value to me, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like it's not a thing where I know that when I was growing up and I was watching like Real World San Francisco, and it was like a thing that this guy was out and he had because we were still starting, we were still in the midst of that conversation, whereas now it's like white noise. I was like, oh, cool.
I remember being a kid when that speaking of like Pedro Zamora came out. I remember the only thing that I was clinging on to was the fact that he was from Miami. They kept saying Miami. I'm like, oh shit, Miami. Like that's all I give a fuck. Gay man, HIV. I'm like, but from Miami, right? Like I remember vividly, and I don't know what year was that. Can we get the year in that?
95, 96, around there.
Yeah, so I'm 13, 14 in a time when the world that's supposed to be a big deal. It's supposed to be a big shocking, like in the homosexual Pedro Zamora, and I remember literally only caring that he was from Miami. I'm like, he's from Miami though. Like that's fucking awesome, bro. Miami represent. 94. Like I remember being that guy. Yeah, 94. So I was 13. I was 13 years old. And all I cared about was the fact that he's from Miami. And I was having this conversation with Martika on my Instagram live yesterday when the conversation came about the same sort of thing about Ricky Martin. And I remember saying vividly, I was in my like 19, I was like 19 or 20. Not when he came out, but I was like 19 or 20 when there were rumors. Remember, there was rumors flying around that he may be homosexual. And I remember thinking, literally having conversations at my job where it was either at lunch or on a break, and people were like, do you think he's gay? Do you think he's gay? And I would say, yeah, and who gives a fuck? Like, I remember vividly thinking, who gives a fuck? Like, he's putting out fucking great music. This is like in the peak of his, what's the one that William Hung song?
She Bangs.
She Bangs. So She Bangs, and like it was in the peak of like, that popularity of the mega, because he's been famous for 1,000 years since he was in Menudo. But I remember at that peak, I saying things like, "Who gives a fuck?" And they're like, "Oh, but," and my friends were like, "He never takes anybody to like, he never takes a woman to like the red carpet event," and I was like, "Who gives a shit?" Like I didn't care. I've never. That,
yeah, but sometimes that back in the day they used to get into shit too. Like I remember I was actually just having this conversation with my mother earlier today. Technically, when I was younger, I used to be bullied. I also was so far into my own little world of ADD that it never really sunk in that I was being bullied. I was not aware because I was like, why are you calling me this word? Because they would call me dyke, they would call me all these things. And I'm like, but you're wrong. Because like that means that they only like girls. I know I like boys. I was so confused by their wrongness that I didn't realize that they were insulting me.
You're so pedantic that you're like, this is inaccurate. This is
I'm sorry. The definition is.
Yeah.
Guys, you're literally getting bullied and like, oh, you and you're like, guys, look at I got on the dictionary right here.
What you think you're saying?
Because the fact that my favorite uncle was gay, like I genuinely did not see it as an insult. I just saw it as a defining thing. Like I just saw like it's
just an adjective.
Yeah,
it's just like
the way you have the color of your hair or whatever. Like it's just I don't know. It's never.
It's like someone's like, haha, you're tall, and you're like, no, I'm short, actually. Wait, hold on. This seems factually inaccurate. This is not a descriptor that I fall under. This category is not for me. I hope you are aware of your mistake and seek to correct it in the future. No? Okay. All right. Okay.
Be like, oh, I'm sorry, this is an insult. I did not sink in.
We have a lot of comments. Hold on, we got a lot of comments coming in. Hold on. Yolanda says, Mike, when your dad first became single, he was a bartender at the Crazy Horse.
Nice. Way to go.
My dad lived it up in Miami in the 80s.
Yeah.
And
that's it. That's the sentence.
Together.
Huh?
How long have they been together?
30 something years. I
Oh
don't know,
shit.
30.
Yolanda, I'm sure will let us know how long
Yeah.
she's.
But yeah, he was single, young, 20s,
Yeah.
like in Miami, and yeah, he's dope. He
Love
had his
is
life.
love, damn it. Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
True.
Nobody's talking about feelings here, Yolanda. We just talking
Oh
about.
my God.
I'm not a bra yet. I'm supportive. I'm not a bra.
I'm not a bra yet. I'm supportive. That
I
means
like it.
I get it.
Oh, I get it now. I was thinking, does bra mean something different in the LGBT?
It's like slang that you don't know.
Like if somebody says, "I'm not a bear," but I'm like, it's bra.
Is
What the
bra
fuck
a
is bra? And I was trying to I was doing the WandaVision thing where I was overthinking shit. I was like, bra, like a hexagon? Like what the fuck does a bra mean? It means nothing. It means nothing. Martika says hi.
Hey.
Hey.
Yes, we were just talking about you, Martika, in the conversation that we had yesterday, you and I had on our Instagram live.
Check it out. Instagram.com/ whatever their names are. I don't know.
Nary signs.
Mhm.
If you're gonna bully me, do it right, damn it.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Like actually hit me
32
where it
years.
hurts.
Look there.
Yolanda says absolutely no relevance to this conversation. I just took my bra off.
Let's do it. Let's all take our bras off, everybody. This is a bra-free show. Let's do it.
I can't do that to me. I can't do that to you.
know.
Guys. I don't want to do that to you guys.
Not this time.
I'm
Maybe later.
breastfeeding and it'll
Yolanda-
get awkward.
32 years. That's true.
Yolanda's been 32 years with
32
Mike.
years with my dad. Yeah.
How old are you, Mike? 39?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I turned 40 this year. My God. I just
Nice.
remembered.
Really?
Oh, Orlando labor.
Oh man, Orlando! Congratulations on all of his success. Where he just had,
Yes.
he was on Fallon. He was on the Tonight Show.
Nice.
Again.
That's
He was-
amazing.
It was again.
Right? Wait, yeah, for the second
Right,
time.
right.
Right?
I wish I could actually see that stuff over here.
HBO special. Like you don't understand. There's like
YouTube.
because he's from Miami and because he's one of the nicest human beings
He's the nicest guy in
ever.
the
Like
world.
he's
Yeah.
it's one of those things. I remember there were times not to turn it back on me, but I remember people being like, "No, you're so nice. You're like the nicest guy I ever met." And I would say, "You've never met Orlando Leyba."
Yeah.
Like he is absurdly, like obscenely nice. It's almost to the point where you go, "What the fuck? What are you?"
All
hiding?
right, already.
What are you hiding? What's going
Easy,
on?"
Orlando. Pump the brakes on the kindness.
He's so kind.
I stayed with him when I went to LA. When I went to I went to LA on a trip. It was like for comedy, but then a girl hijacked it and then ghosted me 2 weeks before I was supposed to go over there. Did I ever tell you about that story?
I remember
Yeah,
that.
you used to mention that story recently.
I
yeah.
remember that.
That was on your TikTok.
Yeah, someone put. I'm like, I got a good ghosting story. Let me get TikTok famous. Nobody saw it. Nobody cared.
But Orlando's super nice, and there's a few because he's from Miami and he's a local guy, and we all came up together. Like I take personal stock in when they succeed. It's very much like Goodfellas. I've used this example many times throughout the years, but it's very much like Goodfellas. Like when somebody else gets made, that pride that I have, like that, I feel like it's my success. I know it's not. I'm just saying, like I feel so happy for them, and
Yeah.
watching Lando get his HBO special and watching him be on Fallon, like it's one of those things where as a comedian in this business, it's very easy to not be a hater, but it's very easy to be like, fuck, I want to get that. Like it's very
So,
like
yeah,
that
envy
logic.
is a big thing.
It's one of those things where you see somebody get something and it's very easy to your first reaction or even your second and third reaction, not to be good for him, but to be like, fuck, I want to do that, or shit, I should do that. Again, that's not even hating. That's not a
But I've
negative.
noticed that the comics around your era who've kind of come up together, like you guys tend to be pretty supportive of each other. Because like I've seen like Forrest often do things and you guys are supportive of him and rep his stuff. Lando, the same thing with him. Even
Lando,
though he
Dave-
did his.
Dave
There's-
Williamson.
Yeah, but
like
there's
all
plenty
these
of
guys.
people who are assholes that did not get the opportunity. You know what I mean? Like that. There's plenty of people that were around at that time that didn't make it, and it's kind of like, oh yeah, they were assholes. So like they wouldn't have made. You know what I mean? Like you catch
The
more
good
flies
dudes
with
did.
honey. You know, like
But I think what it is, honestly, is that what we had down here, like that group, that like, you know what I mean, no matter who left or who came, like, you know, moved on with their career or whatever, like I think we were legitimately friends. We would be friends if we were not doing stand-up. Like I honestly believe that about Orlando, about Forrest. We all met because of stand-up. We all met because we were all at the same time starting to have a dream and started trying to make it. But I would hang out with these guys. If I stopped doing comedy, if I never did comedy and I met them, I know for a fact I would hang out with these guys. They're like they're very nice people. They're very cool people to hang around with. We don't have anybody in that group of friends. And again, I say group, but it's not like we hang out every day. We haven't hung out in years. Everybody's spread out all over the place. I'm still here. Everybody's in LA. But I don't think from that class of comedians that we started, 12, 13 years ago, I don't think there's a person that could be like, yeah, that guy's an asshole, but fuck it, he's cool. You know what I mean? Like, there's no that guy. He's like, even Oni, who used to be the fucking like hard edge fucking guy. Go to his Instagram stories. Look at him fucking talking about growing vegetables. My favorite time of year, I swear to God, today, my favorite time of year is this time of year in California because all the trees are growing, they're blooming.
If
and
you
I'm like, what
go follow Oni and watch him hike with his wiener dog. He's got this
so
cute ass
sweet.
dog.
And he was the edgy comic. He was the edgy one, and it's so funny to me to be like, that's who we all knew from the very beginning. No matter what he did on stage, no matter what fucking weird topic that he talked about, that may not be PC or whatever on stage, we all knew that guy was in there. We all knew that guy is like, yeah, I knew him as a fucking wiener dog walking fucking vegetarian. I just knew him. Anyways, so yeah, I love him. Thank you for stopping by, Orlando, man.
He has a few more comments there. Yeah,
he should come on whenever.
I love that he's been not only on like those shows, but I love watching him pop up as a guest on podcast that I listen to normally, and I'm like, oh, I fucking, you know what I mean? It's like I halfway expect Lando to be on the Office Ladies podcast soon. Like it's one of those
just
things,
some random show
just pops up, and I'm like, I listen to Office Ladies, and fucking Lando pops up on Office Ladies. Fantastic. He says, I'm blessed to have you in my corner. Oh man, thank you very much. It's very much like he's very he's one of those dudes.
This, like we've said enough nice things about Orlando. All right, we could know, but someone at work was saying no, but someone at work was saying, oh God, I saw somebody in the cafeteria watching something, and I guess they had the volume up, and it was his home and garden, the HGTV bit.
Oh yeah, the Super Bowl one.
Yeah. I remember this was it must have been the first time he did it on TV or something like that.
The first time he did it on Fallon. He did it on Fallon.
Yeah, because I remember walking in the cafeteria and being like, I know that bit. What's happening here?
And he's living the dream because he did that bit, right? He the bit, and I'm gonna massacre Lando. I'm not trying to do the bit, but the bit is about him watching a Super Bowl and or football game in general, and then he flipped over during commercial and he landed on HGTV, and then he fell in love with HDTV, and then like he was just talking to the TV as if they could hear him and all this. And again, it's really fun. It's a great bit. You should go listen to it. Buy his album, buy his special, go watch his special on HBO Max. And I remember afterwards he did that bit on Fallon. And afterwards, he said, I mentioned them, and they sent a fucking goodie bag. Like HGTV sent him a goodie bag.
Nice.
And I'm like, you're fucking living the dream.
The dream.
Living the dream. Every comic has that fucking, I'm going to mention, like, the Jim Gaffigan has a fucking joke about, not Jim Gaffigan, Brian Regan talked about how the previous time that he was on tonight's show, he mentioned whatever product, and a bunch of people and that product gave him a bunch of things, and he goes, that was weird. Anyway, so I was looking at a Ferrari the other day.
I imagine it's like Talladega Nights where you're like, due to contractual obligations, I must mention Powerade in every prayer. Powerade is delicious, refreshing flavor of Powerade's Blueberry Mountain Blast.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was. But I remember that's like that the post where he and again Lando, he's not even bragging. Like he's like, he's so humbled and so like grateful to HDTV because he legitimately loves HDTV, and you see him with the swag, and in my mind I was like, you fucking made it, man.
Yeah, that's a symbol of success.
Yeah, you
What
fucking
would
made it,
be-
man. When you mention a company on TV and that fucking company gives you shit, that free shit, that you made it, bro. Congrats.
What would be your bit that you
Oh
would
man, I would
want?
get so many cupcakes. I would get so many.
Oh, yeah.
It would be to the point where I'd be like, guys, it's just a bit. I'm not
What
gonna fucking
brand? Because you know how like Gabriel Iglesias, Fluffy, people bring him shit.
They bring him
all
cakes, like
cakes,
entire cakes. I've worked with him before, and he
Yeah.
talked like, here's the thing: he doesn't eat any of them.
No.
Not only because he's always on the the battle of the bulge trying to lose weight, you can't be eating fucking cakes every goddamn day. But not only because of that, but he's like, look, I love my fans and they're great, but I don't know what the fuck they're putting in that cake.
That's
like,
true.
Yeah, it's true.
And he didn't even curse. Like he's so nice, he doesn't even curse, but he's like, I don't know what they're putting in that cake. Like I can't eat strangers' cakes that make me. I don't know what that is. And he goes, and then imagine if I do, and even if it's nothing, imagine me eating. Like if you go in the green room, there would be like 6 or 7 cakes, and you're like, Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, and Martika's in the comments mentioning that he's diabetic too. So what the fuck is
You
that?
diabetic?
It's probably because of all those fucking cakes.
All those fucking-
Yeah.
I think you should brand the cupcake in your bit as like a hostess cupcake or
right.
you need to give it the specificity.
Just get
of
a sponsor.
brand.
Get a
I
sponsor
know.
for your
We
job.
gotta
Night
get a
Owl.
sponsor. We gotta workshop this, Nary.
Yeah.
But I think that's like huge for, and it's funny because I was thinking about when he posted his like swag bag from HDTV. I was thinking, like, I don't have anything about that. Like all my shit is very like I have one story about me flying American.
Mhm.
And it was a changing flight, and I got into it was a small island, Grand Turk, which is a tiny island, and then Grand Turk, and then the connecting flight I see the American Airlines plane. I have the American Airlines ticket. I'm walking towards the plane, and the lady yells at me and goes, "That's not your plane." And then she points at our plane, which is another plane that can be that's controlled remotely. It looks like it could be controlled remotely from somewhere
Oh.
very nearby. So
That's
like the whole bit.
true.
So like that's a whole. So but that's the only thing. That's a fraction of the joke. But the whole thing is that's the only part that I mentioned American Airlines, just because I have an American Airlines ticket. I see a fucking American Airlines plane. I'm walking towards that plane, and she's like, "No, that's
I
not."
don't know if you're gonna get sponsored by the
Yeah.
joke if you're like shitting on the company all the time.
And I'm
Yeah,
not shitting on the company. I'm shitting on the fucking connecting
know.
flight, the company that they use. That's not American. That's the whole other thing. I did a show last year where in the audience was Kim Kardashian's best friend. I did not know this man existed. I did not know who this person was. I had no idea. They
Oh,
told me before the show.
what's that?
Something food god or something, whatever the
That's
fuck
his
it is.
handle on Instagram.
Yeah.
But
So anyway, so then they told me this before the show goes, and I immediately go, "Oh, I'll do my Kim Kardashian joke." Mike, I haven't done that joke in like 8 years. I hadn't done a joke in a very long time.
Oh, right.
And so if
Fuck,
if
that's
you're a
old
comedian and you haven't done a joke in a while, you stumble getting off the starting gate because you're like, I don't really remember how this joke goes, but let me fuck around with it, and then it
You
comes together.
discover it in real time.
Yeah. And the joke starts off with my wife saying, "Would you bang Kim Kardashian?" And I say yes. And she goes, "Ew, she's such a whore. She's such a slut." And I go, "Yeah, no." I said yes. I already said yes. You don't have to keep selling me in the idea. I don't remember that at the time of me saying this because I don't remember how the fucking joke goes. I just remember calling my wife, asked, "Would you bang Kim Kardashian?" So I'm like learning, and as I'm saying the words, I'm like, "Oh, that probably shouldn't have happened." But like I try to backtrack the whole thing about talking about how beautiful this woman is, and she's not, she's a fucking beautiful millionaire. She's not worried about a fucking fat comedian from Miami who wanted to fuck her. Who gives a shit? Like I did this whole thing where I was like, totally, I'm not good looking. She's amazing. I'm a piece of shit. And then
It's too late.
After the show, it was too late. After the
You
show was
good,
over,
we bad. You big, we small.
yeah. After the show was over, the manager of the Improv was like, "Dude, why did you call her a whore?" I'm like, "I didn't remember how the fucking joke goes." And he goes, "He was recording the fucking thing, and for a fact, if you wouldn't have done that, she would have fucking retweeted that. She would have resent that fucking post for a fact. But because you called her a whore, like that's never gonna happen." And I was like, and it's so funny because I'm not one of these guys that's like, "Oh, that's above me." I am such a whore that I'm like, oh no, like I'm one of those. Like
You're
I'm
the whore in that
I'm the
scenario.
whore. I'm the whore. I'm like, I'm such a whore for numbers and likes, and like I just want to get to 10,000 followers on Instagram so I could do the swipe up feature. Like I just want to do that. Like I just want to get to that point. And I'm just like, no, I missed out on that because I fucking said because I wrote a joke 7 years ago that does not fucking age well.
I just want to swipe up clout.
You need to start embracing TikTok, dude.
Yeah,
Wanda's like,
again, I'm not. That's a other. I need to learn. That's a different muscle. I need to learn that creativity muscle because TikTok is not. I post my stand-up videos. I post my stand-up videos on TikTok, and that does nothing. It gets no traction.
You know what I've learned?
That. So you gotta be creative.
What I've learned is that TikTok is the new MySpace in the way that the people who are good at it have learned a skill. Because in MySpace, you learned HTML for some reason. Like you learned how to customize your shit. You learn how to see CSS. I'm sure there are web designers out there that will credit MySpace dicking around with their profiles as like a gateway into programming, HTML, some sort of website. What TikTok is that, but for video editing. Yeah. Because
it's amazing what some people do.
What some of these people accomplish. Like I will fully admit that I was wrong about TikTok about some things. Like I still think it's a nightmare, but like there is so much more skill on there. Like with any social media platform,
go for it. There's crazy skill.
It's amazing what these people are doing, and also like the content that people are putting out. It's really, really interesting. It has massacred my attention span, like destroyed my attention span. But it is genuinely like the continuing content that people post and the streams of like editing that people do to like
that
other
that
people's
post
things. It's so great.
That series of posts that guy posted that like he's working at IKEA and the customer service questions, whatever that were asked, that have gone super viral of him like, just random shit that customers always say, whatever. That guy's a stand-up. He's a new stand-up because I've seen his stand-up clips and his stand-up clips are not good, but holy fuck, those series of TikToks are phenomenal to the point that I'm a seasoned comedian going, fuck, that's brilliant. I wish I would have thought of that. I wish I would have thought of that. Yeah. I can't. It's really fucking good. Like I've worked customer service my entire life. I could have fucking thought of like it was one of those like, God damn it. It's so funny.
That's the sign of a great joke.
Yeah. It's a different
like when you're like, I can't believe I didn't. Of course, that's such a universal thing, and why didn't I see it from that point of view? That's such a great compliment to anybody who writes. Like,
did you guys see the girl that went viral on TikTok because she matched with Ben Affleck on Raya?
Yeah,
and she thought it was an imposter, so she unmatched him, and then he sent her a video.
He found her on Instagram.
He sent her a video and he was like, "Why did you unmatch me? It's really me." And that shit went viral. And I don't know whose side I'm on, honestly.
That's one of the, if this was an I am the asshole thing, they're both kind of shitty because apparently I had to look up what Raya was. I didn't know what Raya was. It's like
Missy taught me what Raya was. I had no idea.
It's like Tinder for celebrities.
Correct. Yeah. You have to apply and they have to let you in.
Right. And there's like really strict rules about like screenshots and like almost like an NDA. Like if you're on there, you can't talk about, like, it's like Fight Club. You can't talk about Fight Club.
Right.
But apparently, I don't know what you're talking about.
Tell people what.
Apparently since he went outside of Raya and because she apparently had her Instagram in her profile or whatever, he was like, hey, why did you, it's me, which to his credit, the whole point of that platform is that they vet you to make sure that you're not a fake celebrity profile. You know what I mean? Like the whole point, like it's like did you forget what platform she was on? It's like, yeah, of course that's Ben Affleck. I don't know. They're both shitty. Everyone's an asshole here.
I don't know.
Did she tell him she thought he was fake before she
she just unmatched him?
No, but then she put him on blast, the message that he sent.
Because she made herself the butt of
him on blast.
Yeah, she made herself look like make herself the butt of the joke because she's like, I fucked up. I thought it was Ben Affleck. I didn't think it was him.
Oh, I read a different interpretation from someone. That's why
you should just watch the 30-second video.
I did, but it was also like
read a whole article about this. You just
no. It was someone
about yourself.
It was like people commenting in a thread about it, and I did
No.
watch the video. I did watch the video, but
the video was like this girl was like that one time. I'm remembering the time that I unfriended
Right.
Ben Affleck from Raya because I thought it was an imposter, and then he sent me a video and it was him, and then she cuts to the video saying, "Why did you unfriend me? It's me."
well, one
And
of the things, the reason that they were like kind of like the reason why people like, because there's this, I guess, like people who connect on dating apps, and then the guy pursues the girl even after rejection on their social media. Is kind
But it's
of
not the same
stalker.
thing.
I know,
It's-
I know, but that's how like they framed it before I watched the video.
Oh.
And that's why I had that in my mind about it. But I mean, I still think it's like,
I feel like he can't win with the press, though. Poor guy.
I don't understand why everybody hates on this guy.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
I really don't.
I mean,
what's
I really,
wrong?
I
hate
he's
on his brother.
he's
Not him.
yeah.
his
Well, yeah.
brother.
There's no discussion there.
He's adopted. We don't talk about him.
He
It's like
killed 80
Thor.
people
He's
in
like Thor.
3 days. He's adopted. I don't know why Ben Affleck can't catch a break in the press. He's like talented. He seems like a good dad. Like he has his issues, which actually makes me like him more. Like I don't know why he can't catch a break.
Yeah, like he has his demons and shit, but he's
But
trying
I like that. I mean,
Yeah, 'cause
not
he's
that
I'm
he's
just happy
going.
that him and J-Lo are hanging out again.
The 2000s are back, baby. I'm
know.
so excited about that.
Wait,
Like
can we
Pence
just
and
talk about-
Jennifer.
Can we just talk about we can't let this happen, right? We can't let that happen. Jennifer, get back with Ben Affleck.
Let me explain something to you.
That
If
would
Brad
be-
Pitt and Jennifer Aniston are flirting again.
No, but that would be the missing. If she gets another ring, that would be the missing ring for her fucking Infinity Gauntlet of engagement rings. We can't do that, right?
I don't think it counts as his.
It goes right back to the is Ricky Martin gay thing. Who gives a fuck? Like
Well,
I don't know. It's
celebrity
trending.
I'm making the joke about fucking Infinity Gauntlet ring.
I'm gonna eat my cake
I'm
pop
not making
now.
fun of. I'm not making fun of your joke, but that's the thing about
Well,
celebrity.
I wouldn't
culture
care
that
because
drives me
of the joke.
nuts, man. There's a big part of me that I get it. It's like if it had to do with their work, like what the shit that happened behind the scenes on something, or like or this person's genuinely like a bad person, like all of the Casey Affleck stuff, or like Mel Gibson being a fucking anti-Semitic person, all of that shit.
Ish.
Like, huh?
Yeah, anti-Semitic-ish.
Well, whatever. Yeah,
Pretty much.
he's on a sliding scale of anti-Semitism.
He's on the spectrum.
He's on the
Can I
spectrum.
just tell you the first time that when the tapes leaked, right? When those tapes leaked of the
sugar tits.
of the phone call to his then
Oh,
girlfriend,
right, yeah.
when those I didn't hear the tapes. I still haven't really heard them, but Oni was telling me, "Hey, your boy," because he knows I love Braveheart. So, hey, your fucking boy, whatever. And I'm still trying to kind of defend him, even though I've never fucking heard the fucking tapes, right? And I'm still kind of like, oh, whatever. He's like, bro, saying the N word like that and blah blah. And it's like, but was it with an AR? Was it with an A at the end? That's what I said. Was it with an A at the end? He goes, well, saying that you hope that she gets fucked by 10 N words with an A at the end, I don't think really fucking makes it.
Yeah.
That doesn't really soften it.
That's not the context we're looking for.
I remember this as via text, and I was like, wait, did he really fucking say that? Like, I was so like, oh my God. When you read it, it goes, wow, this is not good. I'm like, I still haven't heard the tapes because that's all I needed to know.
Yeah.
When Omi told me about it, and I was like, ugh, okay.
Like that to me, I find like I would care about that. Like all of the fucking Harvey Weinstein shit. You're like, absolutely.
So only bad news, not
No.
like not fluffy,
Wait,
like
is he
whatever.
happy? Wait, is he happy dating somebody? Fuck that guy. What do I care?
Like personal
But
relationships.
that's always been
stuff.
part of Hollywood, though. Like
That's
celebrity relationships, like
that
the
goes-
studios
that's-
used to pump that shit out all the time.
I
That's not
know, but
even-
I'm saying I don't. Yeah, cool, fine. Yeah, Clark Gable being involved with some other random starlet. Yeah, I don't care.
Rock Hudson having to be in the closet forever.
Yeah.
Oh my
exactly.
God! Did you guys
Like,
ever
we're not
watch
talking about it.
Hollywood? Ryan Murphy's Hollywood?
Yes.
No.
No, it's a good watch.
With Ben Affleck?
No, unfortunately, he was not cast in that. But
Is that Ryan Murphy's stuff, like other than Glee, mind you? Like his stuff usually puts me so on edge.
Well,
when I'm
well,
watching shit
Ryan
that I'm just
Murphy
like,
did. So he did good. He did really good, and actually, I was kind of surprised at how much I liked it. And you should give it a couple episodes
Of Hollywood, the show Hollywood.
Yeah, it's called Hollywood. It's a reimagined what if kind of miniseries, and it's fantastic.
I
So
mean,
I don't know what you guys like, how what your watching habits have become since quarantine and like and the COVID and all that stuff.
I
But
love my habits.
huh?
No, Missy said that they've become awful. I'm like, I love my watching habits.
No. Like
Oh,
Well, no,
yeah.
like the kind of stuff. Like so
Quarantine
for
has given me an opportunity to watch a ton of shit. Don't get me wrong. I've always been a comedian on the road that's always had the fucking opportunity to watch whatever he wants to
have
watch.
you
Anyway,
been skewing to anything like in particular? Because like I noticed that I started skewing toward particular things this whole last year, but I don't know how much of that is
I
COVID,
love
how much of that is
I just love sitcoms in general. Even before
Yeah.
the pandemic, I've been I love sitcoms when they're done right. Like people shit on sitcoms for whatever reason because I guess they're tired of it and they want something. They want a different kind of show or whatever the fuck, and that's fine. I to each his own. But I love when a sitcom is done right, and I think there are plenty of good sitcoms around.
my post-breakup quarantine watching habits has been very different than my pre-breakup stuff. So like after my breakup, it was
a lot
like
of porn.
guys, you're lucky I'm awake.
No
right
denial. No denial.
Guys.
Not even he even
You're just a tired face. Like, yeah.
No, it's not
not
true. I'm
that.
just going
He's
for the joke, but like I'm talking about non-porn related viewing
Oh.
habits.
Well, yeah,
Who
those-
cares? Who
those-
cares
yeah.
about that? Tell me
cares about
about
those-
your pain.
Who cares about those 15 minutes? We're talking about the
Yeah.
rest of the day.
15 minutes. You're doing it wrong, man.
Generous.
Yeah.
5 max, bing bang boom.
In
I
and
gotta
out.
drop
In and
two,
out.
two.
Who cares about the 15 minutes that are not about porn? We're talking. Let's get
Right. The old switcheroo. You got me. I discovered TikTok around that time. So
Before or
now
after?
After the breakup. And then so
Okay.
now everything is like background noise. So I'm fighting to pay attention to shit. Like it took
Maybe
me a
that's
few
my problem.
tries to watch the new episode, the Bad Batch that came out yesterday, the new thing, the new Star Wars animated series that came out. Or even something like that I genuinely wanted to watch, like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like I had to sit there and like get my phone and like plug it in like on the other side of the room because I would get distracted. I'm like, no, I want to watch this. That's why TikTok has like ruined my attention span because it's like, yeah, get to the
Instant
thing, you know, like
dopamine.
why is this taking so long? 30 seconds, you know, like
I haven't been able to make it through a lot of new stuff. I've been an awful like I just stick with my reruns and I don't know. I haven't been
Well,
able to shake it.
Yeah, there's a lot of
It's
shows I've been
awful.
wanting to see.
And I
but
don't-
anything.
Can I just tell you, Missy? I'm gonna let Missy finish real quick, but go ahead, finish because I want to talk about something that Missy told me about TV watching.
I've been sticking to my reruns and I'm awful at finishing what I start.
So Missy,
The roast.
Missy and I have been for years like, hey, let's watch the same shows so we could talk about them for years. It's been like, hey, whatever. So we'll
Like
watch
you just
them.
make a pact and you're gonna watch it together and kind of keep pace so we can talk about
And
it.
we started off really well, like like I'll watch whatever show you want me to watch, and we'll finish that, and then you watch whatever show I recommend, and then back and forth. It started off really well, and then it trailed off into this like, no, I'm not watching that, and I'm like thing anymore. And swear to God, not lying, right? I binged when I had COVID the entire series of Superstore. Right? Huge fan of the show now. I wasn't before. I didn't
Wait.
care about it before.
He binged it just for context. He binged it, but I watched it like
Live.
like as they aired. So it's been like 6 years. It was six seasons. So 6 years of watching it. He saw it. He saw the whole thing in 10 days. Go on.
Like, yeah, less. It was like, well, and I finished watching it literally a month after the final episode aired. So I started binging at the perfect time. It was fucking done and over with.
yeah.
And so I'm watching it, whatever. She's going through 6 years, watching it for 6 years. And then she's like, I got 6 episodes left. You know, when you get to episode, whatever, season 6,
I
episode
did say that.
3. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to watch it. I'm just going to keep watching. So I'm letting you know I'm almost there.
Mhm.
You should probably watch it now because I'm fucking flying through this.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'll get to it. Fast forward 3 weeks later, she still hasn't finished watching it. We share a Peacock account. So I know what she's watching. She's watching Frasier, which she started watching 3 years ago.
Yes.
She's on
the
season
betrayal.
she's on season 3 of Frasier, even though that's a show that I told her to watch 3 years ago. So
Well, I'm getting to it. Doesn't that
Yeah.
count for something?
So, and then on top of that, the Superstore that she had the 6 episodes left, and then there was another show. What was the other show? King of Queens, she got mad at me because she was like, "Can you hurry up and finish watching it so that I could start watching it?" Because Peacock doesn't have multiple accounts; it's all one account. And I said, "Okay, fine." And me and Vanessa like plowed and we watched all of King of Queens again because we've seen it before. And so all of these things is happening, and she has these 3 shows that she's semi sort of watching right all at the same time. And then she told me, like, we're video FaceTiming, and she looked at me and she goes, "Hey, can we make a deal to like we should do a project?" I go, "What are you talking about?" And she goes, let's say that we're gonna watch Dawson's Creek together, and let's actually watch it because we're both fans of Dawson's Creek." And I was like, "Missy, you haven't watched the last 6 episodes of fucking Superstore. Those are half-hour episodes, and it's been 3 fucking weeks. You want to start 7
I don't like when
seasons
things
of an
end.
hour-long show? Like,
I
that's
don't-
how
Bro, I kind of get. I hate
Hold
the
on a second.
endings.
I'm
Like the endings
Googling
of shows
attention
never
deficit
live up to the
disorder.
end.
Hold on a second. I'm googling
I think-
ADHD.
Here's the
starting
problem.
Oh,
projects
I
and not
have my
finishing
paperwork. Do
them.
you want me to just list off the questions to you
Yeah,
guys?
yeah.
I literally have
Sure,
my
if I can
paperwork.
pay attention long enough, I'm sure I'll check off all the fucking boxes. That's all I need
Very
is to
short,
find out.
very short amount of questions.
just skim them. Just skim them.
We should do watch party. There's watch party things now for.
I would love to do that. I've suggested that as well. The problem is that I recently in the past couple of days have come to realize that I can't sit still. I haven't been able to write. I haven't been able to watch the movies. I am the type of person I want to do. I want to watch new things. I want to watch new shows. And then I'm like, let me just put on Big Bang for a minute. And then it's 6 hours later. And like I don't mean it.
That's me with
I don't
TikTok.
mean it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the anxiety of COVID has made a lot of people kind of delve into comfort watching and not necessarily actually like listen, because like I can't watch any new like any downbeat stuff. Like I tried to sit down and watch Snowpiercer.
She's the other way around. She can watch anything that makes her feel happy. Do you understand how fucked up that is? She got mad at me because the fucking series finale of Superstore was happy. Was that it made her cry.
I don't want to feel things,
She doesn't want
and
to
he
feel
made
things.
me watch it, and I was feeling things, so it's his fault.
Well, see, for me, it's the other way
You need to
around. Like
unpack it.
during pregnancy. So during pregnancy, I had like antenatal anxiety, depression, whatever. It
Yeah.
was super fun. Pregnancy was so
Oh my
fun.
gosh.
So much
Well,
fun.
why
Baking
were you
do
going?
this.
Why were you in a pandemic?
Say it as to
Were
make it
you-
seem as if like not a big deal. Like, oh, I had this thing, fucking
Were you like? Were you pregnant during a pandemic? Because I mean,
I know.
honestly, right? Yeah,
Right.
totally called
so
for.
easy.
Please, and just in case, like, don't judge yourself for that. But
So
go on.
like ever since the beginning of COVID until now, like I'm the opposite. I have to watch things that make me laugh and smile so I can remember. So like I need happy. Like
Yeah.
if I'm not watching
that might be
something
a good idea.
like if I'm not
actually.
watching some sort of comedy thing, I'm also just constantly streaming things from College Humor now. Like I'm watching Dimension 20, which is a D&D
Yes.
podcast, and
Totally.
I'm freaking addicted.
I felt excluded a little bit because that's genuinely what has become the background stuff when I'm watching all the time. Dimension 20, Fantasy High, all of the D&D shows, and
Yeah.
it's a different kind of thing because it's like 4 hours long, and you could just like tune back in and be like,
Yeah.
"Fuck, what is going on now?" And you have to rewind again. But it's like not even a half-hour bite-sized show. It's either TikToks that are 30 seconds or 4 hours of Dungeons and Dragons. But anything
I'm
in
doing it
between-
simultaneously. I'm watching Critical Role and I'm looking and I'm on my TikTok at the same
See,
time.
it's like a problem.
It's
I'm not
totally a
alone.
problem.
I
You know what
watched-
we should do? We should
I
do.
watched all of The Boys season 2. I watched
I did watch The Boys.
Invincible. I just finished Invincible, which
good
is
It's so
that.
good.
fucking phenomenal.
So
I'm
good.
like watching all these new shows during the day when my kids are not there, especially the ones that are not appropriate for children. While my kids are at school, I'm watching all these new shows. I'm on Solar Opposites season 2, which is a fucking amazing show.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be that guy. I hate to even bring it to digress, but like that statement of like all these 3 shows I just mentioned, I want to tell everybody like, please watch this because I want somebody to talk about it with. But I don't want to tell anybody to watch it because I don't want to be classified as that annoying fan like the people for Rick and Morty fans, which I don't understand because I've been a Rick and Morty fan for years and I don't understand how that's a negative, but it's besides the point. Like I'm like, all right, whatever.
It's the gatekeeping of it all. It's like, if you don't watch it, you're a loser because we're smarter than you.
But I've never experienced that with any with not just that show, but I've never really experienced that for the most part about anything. But anyways, so I want to tell people watch a show, but I don't want to tell them because I don't want to be that annoying fan base. But I'm like, hey, if you happen to watch Invisible, just let me know.
By happenstance.
If just by any chance you watch
Off the
Boys
air,
Season
we'll gush
2,
about it.
if you could just
let's
let me
do.
know.
They have the watch together functionality on a.
Yes, I know. We got to
Just
do
do it.
a lot of these apps. Some of these apps, like Amazon Prime, has it, but you have to do it through a computer. It can't be through an iPad. Some of these are not iOS compatible, and that kind of throws me off because I'm
Disney Plus has it. I know Netflix has it.
HBO Max.
so HBO Max has it, but HBO Max you have to go through a third party, which again can't be on an iPad. It has to be on a desktop, which again not the biggest
Not
deal.
a problem, but
Not the problem, but it's not ideal either. I'm like, I can't be laying down on my bed. And we got to, man, an hour 24. Fuck, we got to get to Am I the Asshole? We got to get to it.
Yeah. Do you want Am I the Asshole for being the one to pay for my niece's tummy tuck after years of her parents telling her no? Or am I the asshole for inviting my sister to live with me across the country after my parents tried to charge her rent at 18?
The first one.
Tummy tuck.
The second one hits too close to home.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to get out of here.
Wait,
are we going?
Did we? No, I'm saying, did we not send another one? Did we not send more?
I didn't get any.
Wait, Vanessa had sent one in our chat, Neri. Hang on a second.
See,
I sent it to you guys. Am I the asshole for not?
No, am I the asshole for
and not going to her wedding over a prank?
Okay,
yeah, we did that last week.
We did
I read that one last week. I'm sorry.
This one's the one that Vanessa said on Monday was, am I the asshole for leaving my sister without child care without notice because she wanted something?
No, let's do this one.
She wanted me to come to her.
Well, yeah, we'll do. Am I the asshole for being the one to pay for my niece's tummy tuck after years of her parents telling no? Jenny went through a trauma as a kid and ended up becoming an emotional eater, obese, held back a grade, socially stunted, etc. Her parents, with a lot of pushing, put her into therapy, and she was able to heal from the trauma and then gain control of her eating. Because they waited so long to take the problem seriously, after she lost the weight, her skin didn't bounce back and she was left with a saggy belly and protruding abdomen. She had a double roll belly where there's a roll above and below the navel. This is so specific. And the bottom one tends to stick out in clothing.
Fupa.
Yeah. Before the body image brigade rains down on me, this is not just the fat that naturally gathers there for a lot of women. This is overhanging fat is almost always visible in clothes. Oh, shit, I lost my place. Nothing she did could fix it. Her parents are very much anti-plastic surgery, and given that she was a teenager, I totally get it, but she was miserable in her body. Jenny stays with me during the summers because I live near a beach and love spending time with her. Over the years, she would cry and cry and cry about me. Blah, blah, blah. Tell me about how much she hated her stomach and how she wishes.
I like the fact that Mike is like, she would cry and cry.
He wrote cry and cry and cry a whole bunch of times, and I was just like,
feelings, whatever.
Yeah. To me about how much she hated her stomach and how she just wishes she could look normal and her parents would just let her get a tummy tuck. Last year, I decided that I would give her the tummy tuck for her 18th birthday as long as she cleared it with her counselor. The counselor agreed that this was something that would truly help. She had it done in late summer, healed while staying with me, and then went to college. I can't tell you how different she was. Confident, happy. She finally wore clothes that didn't hide her body, the whole 9 yards. She even asked out someone at the beach. Wow, this is awesome. She came home for spring break and finally wore something that made her mom take notice. And spring break.
What a lucky host. She skipped a family
I'm just
for
doing like a
holidays.
whole year. From her mom to take spring break and finally wore something that made her mom take notice. I'm guessing mom saw the scar. She hit the roof and started yelling at Jenny for what she did, asking her if she really spent her college money on something that frivolous, etc., etc. Jenny came crying to me about it, and I knew I couldn't let her mom blame her, so I fessed up. I'm blacklisted. My sister basically thinks I'm Satan, warping her kids' self-esteem and self-image, that I should have told her to learn to love her body instead of giving into diet culture. Jenny is happier than she's ever been. She's healthier. Furthermore, she was 18, and this is something she wanted since she was 15 years old. I didn't lead to her wanting more. It didn't lead to her wanting more surgeries. It led to her sobbing happy tears after she tried on a curve-fitting dress for the first time. I don't see how what I did was wrong at all. At the same time, I know she's not my kid. We went behind my sister's back. Plastic surgery is a big deal, so I don't know.
Kind of late for you to be asking. Not for me. I'm leaning hard on she's not the asshole. Super hard.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you why. The sister getting mad, to be expected. The sister is telling her, "Oh, you should have told her that she just has to be confident, whatever." Dear parents, you can't tell somebody to be confident and just love yourself, because it doesn't work. There's a family member that I'm dealing with right now that is showing signs of having an eating disorder, and everybody is yelling at them. And I'm like, hey, that's not going to help anything. But I digress. Yes. So the mom getting mad, to be expected. The mom blowing her gasket, like blacklisting the sister. Okay, I can see that because it's her kid. Okay, but she was 18. She didn't do anything behind. The only thing that they kept behind her back is probably because they didn't wanted the mom to shut the fuck up a little so that the girl could do what she wanted to do. And at the end of the day, your body is your house. And if you don't feel comfortable in your house, that's not something that can be told. You can't talk your way out of it. You have to do something about it.
I genuinely feel like this is one of those, the who the asshole is so clear, but like what it means is so much bigger. Like the fucking spring break thing blew me away. So Summer, she did the surgery, and Summer had time to heal before she went back to college. And then the next year in spring break was when the mother finally noticed. That is,
she could have been. I mean, during winter, she could have been covered. Like, but it also shows that the mother didn't notice.
But wait, hold on. It could be that wasn't she away at college?
Right, but
like she was away at college. She wasn't really at home, and I mean.
But it just feels like there's been such a buildup of like not wanting to share with the mother, like that divide. Like
I wonder why.
Yeah. Like that's what I'm saying. Like the hard line against. I understand like the hard line against plastic surgery when you're like for children, for kids, you know, like where you don't know how they're going to develop, you don't know the end results, and you know. I've seen
there's a psychological effect to having surgery, like nip tucks or whatever, like elective surgeries. Yes.
And but even then, also like physiologically, your body grows and you're not done growing yet. So I understand all that sort of thing. And I've also seen horror stories for when people go down to Colombia and to get surgery done without the proper screenings. Ugh, it's terrible. But also, you know, like I've seen people who feel a million times better after taking ownership of their own body, either with health and fitness or with plastic surgery,
or both,
combination of both.
Yeah, but
look, like I said, I'm Colombian. Like plastic surgery is part of my natural evolution. Like it's just gonna happen.
That's a cheap export of Colombia.
Yeah, sure.
Right. Sure. I mean, it's on the lower.
I mean, it's one of.
but it's one thing. Like I'm very surgery positive. Like whatever is going to help you feel better. Like I do think you need to temper it with, you know, actual body positivity and stuff like that. I try to promote body positivity as much as possible, but it's so much harder when it's you in your own skin. I want everyone in the world to feel beautiful, but I am the first hypocritical asshole who looks at myself in the mirror and goes, nah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, just like kind of like shaving. I was like, oh my God, what is happening to me? Like
nobody's not believing you, Mike.
Huh?
Nobody's not believing you. We all missed a facial hair. I'm sorry. Am I the only one that missed a facial hair? I love Mike with a facial hair.
What?
Mike with a facial hair can get it. Mike without the facial hair, I'll wait. I'll wait for the facial hair to come back.
You still have the dimples. You rock them.
Well,
you show them off.
Neri, be nice. Be nice.
No, but I will say this. He
was saying the same thing about himself. What the fuck?
You turn the car around. You don't drive it off the cliff.
Look, I get it. It's a good joke. It was a good bit.
Sure.
Hurt my feelings.
That's
but
what
still a good
he
bit.
goes, I'll
still
wait.
A good bit. What I will say is that I will say this. There is a huge stigma against men embracing like surgery and like plastic surgery for men, like even like when guys get like hair transplantation or something like that, like there's like a shame in not being like manly, whatever. And then it's also like the body positivity is very strong again. I think we talked about it last or another time with the body shaming stuff.
Yeah.
Like the body positivity for men is dramatically lacking in terms of like how present it is in pop culture or in the public sphere, social media, all that stuff. Because like for this girl to get plastic surgery to fix her tummy tuck and all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. If I were to get a tummy tuck and I was a scar there, and so I was dating a woman and I have to reveal the scar for the first time and be like, oh yeah, I was uncomfortable with that, there would be immediate judgments made. You know, like it's
oh god, I
different.
hope not. Then,
No,
then it's then whoever you're dating is not a feminist.
You know, right? Like I mean,
Who?
it sounds crazy, but like as the
So I have a friend, a man who recently last December, or I don't know when, but he got he had gastric bypass, right? And he was telling me, and when he told me that he's gonna get it, I was very much like, bro, that's fucking awesome, because he needs it and it's gonna extend your life. And I'm thinking about his kids, and I'm like, dude, that's awesome. I even made a statement, I wish I could, I wish I had the fucking money, but I can't fucking, I can afford that, whatever. And
the lifestyle afterwards again is also very expensive.
And so he said that he's not telling, he's like, please don't tell anybody. And I'm like, well, okay, who the fuck am I gonna tell anyway? But whatever.
Sucks.
But then he went on to explain that he doesn't want that he's it's been 6 months or whatever it's been since December, and he hasn't told people. Like he hasn't gone public with it. Again, not that he has to, it's nobody's fucking business. But the reason behind why he doesn't go public to me hit home, because he was like, people are gonna make fun of me, and he's very old school macho, like, and that feeling, like what he's feeling, I remember him telling me that, and I'm like, really? And I'm like, I didn't, you know what I mean? It's kind of like when somebody says high school sucks, and you go, really? I thought high school was great. You're like, yeah, you're the captain of the football team, asshole. Of course you thought it was fucking great. The rest of us don't think it's great. And that's the kind of conversation that I had. I'm like, really? You're not gonna tell people? I would fucking be singing that shit from the rooftops. I'd be like, I'm fucking doing this, motherfuckers. Yeah. And I'd be like, and I was making that kind of jokey shit, but his statements were real. And again, it's nobody's business. It's whoever he could tell or not tell, whoever he doesn't want to tell or tell. But the reasoning behind his logic of doesn't want to tell people was painful to hear.
It's shame. He feels ashamed.
It was shame. Like, I don't want people to make fun of me. And when he says people, it's not women, it's guys. Because women are not going to make fun of that. Women are not going to be like, look, and you see this guy, he had elective surgery to save his life. Can you imagine?
Oh,
like,
you just want to fucking work out for his, tell him we're going to hit the gym, not be such
exactly. All that.
That's the toxic side of masculinity. That's just.
You have any idea how many gym rat guys have full-blown eating disorders? Full-blown, the way that they measure protein and all that shit, like incredible body dysmorphia. Those gym. I'm not saying all of them, and I'm not saying all of them are bad, but there's people who genuinely live this lifestyle. Huh?
I love Will Watkins though.
I love Will Watkins. He's in great shape, and he does. But he's an example also. Like he jokes around about it all the time.
Yeah, he's fucking great.
But he takes it very seriously in a way that like I wish I could. I wish my whatever's broken in my brain.
Like, here's it's all whatever. But the whole point, going back to the am I the asshole?
Yeah.
I don't even think it's okay for me to answer this question. Because when you're talking about a woman's body, especially a young woman's body, I'm like, I shouldn't even have an opinion. Like I shouldn't be allowed to have an opinion about whether or not do I think that this woman is right or whatever the fuck. And like, I will say that I could see the parents' point of view. Everything that she listed at the end about it's not her kid. Mm-hmm. She's 18. Surgery is a big deal. Like all those factors as a parent, I could understand the logic of the mom being upset about it.
Yeah, but at that point, you also have to go along with your child.
Point, I also have to say, I don't know what it's like to be an 18-year-old girl who hates her body. So I would never dare fucking put myself in those shoes and try to judge somebody who fucking did something about it. You know what I mean? And everything that Missy said, right on the fucking money. Everything that Missy said, I was like, yeah, that sounds fucking right. And I don't have that. I can't even know. I don't even know where to fucking put an opinion because I was like, I don't think anybody's the asshole. Is that wrong? I don't think anybody's the asshole.
You can.
That is one of the things.
I think all of them have their points of view. I think the mom is fucked up for blacklisting her sister, whatever the fuck, whatever that means, blacklisting.
Again, the communication.
Is it weird that I hope that for myself? I'm like, what can I do so that they don't
Costco.
want me over anymore?
You're not Costco. I don't fucking. It doesn't matter if you blacklist me. Like that's the only blacklist that I'm worried about is Costco being like, you can't come in here no more.
Like, no, please.
What? Where am I going to get my fucking huge amount of taquitos?
You go in with a mustache and.
I love when people go, oh, they blacklisted me. Like, who the fuck are they to black? Like, what? How special are they to be like blacklisting people? Who gives a fuck?
I would love for that to happen. You can't come to Thanksgiving, really? Okay.
The only argument I have against Neri's point is the 18. Like the second she turns 18, she's allowed to do whatever she wants.
Yeah.
And if I do believe that they should have told the mother that it was going to happen, like as it was happening, and not
forgiveness is better than permission. It's easier to get.
I don't think that is
the truth.
No, but there's truth to the fact that if they didn't want to tell her, okay, just based off of the entry, if they didn't want to tell her, it sounds like the mom was gonna be a pain in the dick about the surgery, about the recovery, about all of it. And the last thing you want to do when you're recovering from a surgery is have a fucking toxic parent down your throat and probably in her ear about what a fucking dumb mistake she just made.
But didn't she say to piggybacking off of Missy's comment, didn't she say in the post that her mom already had told her no?
Yeah.
Her mom already had disapproved of the fucking surgery. So when I make the statement of forgiveness is easier to get than permission, it's the truth. That's not something that assholes say. It's the truth. I'm gonna do it anyway.
I just generally don't really like that phrase because a lot of times it's used.
Yeah.
It's used not great.
It's been used on you for fucking different. I mean, that's just that guy.
What I was gonna say. No.
I love fucking Steph's eyes. Like, shut the fuck up. I like we know. We all know.
Not shut the fuck up. It's like we all know. But that could be like 5 different podcasts.
My whole point is I love that statement because I use it in when I get in trouble, like at work. Like that's the type of shit that I use it for. That's the type of logic that I use it for. I'm like, what? I'm not supposed to be on my fucking personal phone for 40 minutes. I didn't know. I'm sorry. And it's one of those like that. That's where I use that logic behind it.
No, but here's what I'll say about that. That statement it implies that permission is necessary. At the second she turned 18, the permission has nothing to do with it. She's allowed to do whatever the fuck she wants.
Right. However,
permission is no longer a part of the problem.
Well, you're talking about legally, sure.
Yes.
We're talking about social contracts. Yes, it is necessary. It's necessary to get her parent because that's not her kid, dude. And you're paying for her kid to have that surgery. Social contracts state that you need the parent's permission. Not legally. She's 18. She can do whatever the fuck she wants. But if that wasn't the case, then why would she care about being blacklisted?
No,
she knows she's blacklisted because she doesn't.
Agree with you. I don't agree. But because I will say that you're saying that socially, you have to ask or whatever.
Not have to. Socially, she specifically felt that she should have asked beforehand because she even said it. I didn't ask. It's not my kid. We didn't talk about it.
You're talking about the sister. I'm talking about the girl. The girl herself.
Oh, not the girl.
Oh, the girl did nothing. The girl's
nothing wrong. The girl's like the girl's like just in the middle. I'm talking.
What I said is that they should have communicated that the daughter should have been like, I'm doing this,
right?
And Aunt so and so is helping me do it because I know you because you won't let me get this done, and she's willing to help me. This is going to change my life for the better. Here's the consequences of this choice I'm making after the fact. But I'm doing it. Like it's no longer asking permission.
Yeah. I mean, that would be the ideal.
Yeah.
But I think Missy does have a point in the sense of like, if these are toxic parents or very opinionated in your face parents, even trying that, they're going to be nonstop afterwards. Like I do get that. I do get
then
That-
you have the
We got-
agency to do the cut. You know,
Hold on, we
the
got
choice
some
is
comments.
Yeah.
We got some comments. My friend Olivia says the parents.
My
are
friend
gassed up.
Olivia.
Yeah, my friend Olivia. I said
My
that.
friend Olivia.
I just said that, my friend Olivia. Why don't? And my friend Olivia also says that my friend Missy is right on the money.
Mhm.
My friend Yolanda says, nope, not the asshole. This is 2021. Hello, legal aid should not be an issue for her parents. And then Martha said something stupid. And
She says
so
Mike has pretty eyes going.
I know she's
Thank you,
like,
my
Let people
Mike has
compliment
pretty
him.
eyes. I'm like,
Oh, Mike has pretty eyes. Whoa,
Yeah.
that's a change from what she was telling you last week. So,
that's-
God, that's not terrifying.
I see you under his eye. Under his eye.
Oh,
All right. Anyways, look, we're going along. Thank you so much for checking us out. We're gonna go live every Wednesday, WuBro Wednesday. Make sure you guys check us out on Facebook, Twitter. I'm sorry, Twitter, Facebook. We go live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So make sure you guys check that out every Wednesday, 8 p.m. ish. Ish.
Depending on who's late. Who's
I
gonna
know.
be late next week? Dun,
Who's
dun,
gonna be
dun.
late? I had to be a
He's
dad
actually been
today.
on time.
Yes.
know, but
Yeah.
Shocking.
I couldn't. The one time, like literally at 7:30, Vanessa's like, "I'm going to Aldi. Do you need something?" I'm like, "Yeah, for you to be back at 7:50 fucking 9. What are you? What?" I'm like, "I'm about to go live in half an hour." And she's like, "So avocados?" I'm like, "Yes, avocados."
Alrighty.
Thanks for checking us out. The audio version, if you're listening to this on the audio version, as most of you do, because still audio numbers are way higher than the video numbers, make sure you check us out. You can still go back and watch the video on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. So make sure you guys check that out. Just go to our channel, go to YouTube or Facebook, and check out WuBroPod. We have a new donation button. If you want to go Cash App us some donation money, you can go to our Cash App handle is $GeekBroNet. GeekBroNet. In the topic, you should really mention who you're donating to, like which podcast you're donating to. And I understand what Mike is saying. I'm gonna change it to make it WuBro or Geek more specific, because I don't want it to be like I'm sending money for this other podcast that Neri has nothing to do with. Because I'm like, you should send them to them. Like, don't send it to them.
Mhm.
Send us money in any way you can, and we
Yeah.
will figure it out from there.
We will figure that shit out. So Cash App is at GeekBroNet. I'll probably come up with another one next week, another Cash App handle. Either way, thank you so much for the donations, because this shit takes a lot of money. Usually mine or the government's, because I'm unemployed and I'm getting them. So make sure you
it's
guys.
ours. This is a fully socialist show. It is of the people. That
No,
vote
it's
Of
it.
the people, for the people, by the people. And then we are coming up.
We're the people's podcast.
We have a new hotline number that we could have people call in the show. And
Yolanda, that's for you, baby.
Yeah.
so we have a new
That's
hotline
number for you.
I'll give that number out for the next episode, because we're already leaving this episode. Thank you for checking us out. Check out Stephanie's page at hello_my_dear_Watson. And check out Missy's writing at missywrites.com, or Missy the Writer is her handle on Twitter or Instagram. Mike
And
Member
TikTok.
and TikTok.
Follow
stitch a
at
lot.
Zeros on Heroes on everything. I'm going to be going live on Twitch and stuff. So follow at Zeros on Heroes.
All
New
right,
stuff coming.
Zeros on Heroes. So make sure you guys check that out. I am Neri Science. Whatwashisname.com. You guys been great. Love you. What a dude. You guys been great.
That was
That's
yesterday.
how winning is done.
We're still live.